You're listening to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy podcast, with Rye for Borough, Steve for Newcastle United, and Ted for Sunderland.
Good morning, my beautiful people around this beautiful world of ours. Welcome to the Three's a Crowd podcast, the only North East football podcast where we bring you three teams, normally rivals, where we share a bit of laugh and a bit of banter. It is a big good morning from all three of us. We hope you're fantastic, safe and well. FA Cup is on the horizon for all three North East teams today. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to look back as the wheels come off on Sunderland. I was teasing him before we even went wild. Look at this shake of his head. Hey, I'm just staring at him. He's renovating, everybody. He's a little bit stressed. He hasn't got any pants on because he's moving house and he couldn't find any. All right, so make sure that you don't zoom out or anything like that if anyone can do that with Grok and the AI.
I'm bringing you closer.
Oh, no, quick. He's hanging on by a paint tin. And it's a big good morning to Steve, who was a little bit late because he was doing his hair. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, chaps. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is fitting well and looking forward to an FA Cup weekend.
I know, right?
Beautiful.
Cup weekend. Can't wait. And good morning to you, Teddy boy. Of course, you are probably wearing pants, but don't show the audience.
I am. I'm in my work shorts and in my scrubs. Apologies, I've got no Sunderland clubber with me because I refuse to decorate in it. I just don't want to get my nicest clothes dirty. So yeah, fitting well, mate. Just moved in. We're moving into the new apartment, so that's why I'm here. Where's me at?
He's got a key ring. He's got a Sunderland key ring in case. There you go. There we go. There's the merch. Oh, hopefully everyone is fantastic, safe and well. Let's talk backwards before we talk forwards. We have got a shorter show today because Ted is obviously a little bit of a busy man at the moment, so we will get through everything as quick as we can. So let's look backwards as a week has already gone by. Can you believe it, lads? We're already a week into the new year. It's flying, lads. It's flying. A big week for Premier League where you had two games. Middlesbrough only playing the one game. We've actually a bit of a break, thank goodness. We had a crazy festive fixture and Kim Hellberg got to spend some time with his Swedish family up in Middlesbrough, but obviously tough times for Newcastle and Sunderland having to play two games in a week. Oh, I'm so sorry for you. Premier League, I tell you. Hey, Premier League. Let's look back at Sunderland first, where the wheels are coming off. I'm telling you, I've been stirring him all chat. It's over. Newcastle are now officially above them on the table. Sunderland are gone. Sunderland, Wolves, West Ham. You heard it here first. Teddy boy, Tottenham taking on Sunderland first, mate, and then obviously the trip to Brentford. I honestly watched the Tottenham-Sunderland game. I didn't think it was a BORO 1-1 draw as you're looking back and you look at the scores. I thought it was a very exciting game. I thought it was end-to-end stuff. Obviously, Brentford on the other hand was a bit rough. But let's start off with Tottenham, mate. A 1-1 draw. I think it was very decent to be taking a point from Tottenham on that day.
Yeah, I mean, we started very, very slowly at Tottenham, and I think, we knew AFCON was coming, but you could see the effect it's had on the squad, a much depleted squad. You look at what we had available on the bench, and it's championship, really. It's a championship bench. There's no other way to put it. So the slow start, it was a slight concern. Conceded a goal that was very unlike Sunderland to concede. Conceding from a set piece just hasn't been something that we've had any fear of so far this season. But obviously, the likes of missing Ballard as well for that game, or for the majority of that game, he came on in the second half. It just looked a little bit leggy. Second half, totally different story. In fact, I think if any side was going to win that game in the second half, it was Sunderland. I think we got better as the game went on. Just 10 points from the remaining 17. I think we'll be all right.
Gary.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I thought the Tottenham game, despite the slow start, we finished it well. Against, all right, Tottenham's a little bit of a car crash team. They don't know where they are. But yeah, listen, coming away from that stadium with a point in the bag, brilliant. The Brentford game, I went in that. I was talking to Big Nige. Big Nige will be in the chat somewhere. I'm sure of that. I was speaking to him just before the game and during the Brentford game, saying that this is the one that I think we'll lose, and I was proved right by it. Obviously, yes, I'll come back to the incident that changed the game for me, but yeah. The squad, we started very, very similar to what we did against Spurs. It was slow. There was mistakes being made that were uncharacteristic. So the likes of Mukiele, Alderete, even Xhaka didn't have his best game, I thought, against Brentford either. You expected to improve. We did in the second half. We got the penalty, and then Enzo Lafay
Can we
does
talk
that.
about that? Honestly, what was he thinking? I was straight in the chat to you. The memes, the controversy. I mean, look, I get it. I think, look, and you said it rightly, I think. And look, let's be fair to him. Enzo Lafay's been fantastic for Sunderland ever since coming in.
Yeah.
But at that stage of that moment, it goes in, he's a hero, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And he looks like an absolute. You know what I mean?
There's been, in my opinion, there's been a massive overreaction from a certain contingent of Sunderland fans over it. Yes, but again, my opinion only. He shouldn't have done it at that stage of the game. That was one of them that you get your laces through it, you get us to 1-1. If we equalise, we're not losing that game because we were actually in the ascendancy at that point. The effect that had mentally on the rest of the side, which, you know, you've got to question that a little bit as well and kind of go, you've got to keep your heads up. You've got the opportunities to score now. But, you know, after that, it was a little bit of a heads gone moment, and then we concede the second. You're absolutely chasing the game from there with not enough quality on the bench to do anything with it. So I'm not massively upset with Lafay. It was a very, very silly thing to do at that stage of a Premier League match. The lad's absolutely gutted about it. You know, it was. He'll need to pick his head up. He'll give us a great performance against Palace in the league, I'm sure, next week. I'm not sure whether he's playing today. I'm not. There might be a little bit of a change around with the team against Everton. But listen, to suffer one defeat out of those festive fixtures with the amount of players that we had missing through AFCON, then missing the likes of Dan Ballard as well. Well, I think we've had an absolute touch there because we've got points off big clubs there, and yeah. I'm more than happy with that. I'm not happy with the nature of the defeat against Brentford, but the residing form, and to be honest, that striker is absolutely just red hot right now, and he's capable of doing that. He's in the vein of form that's similar to Haaland. You know, he can do that to any team. So we haven't got to be too upset about it. I think it's a good distraction. The FA Cup this weekend. I love the FA Cup. I've shared that little piece that I wrote about my love for the FA Cup and why we should respect it. It's a great distraction. Third round's my favourite round of the FA Cup. You get to see the giant killings. You get to see everything. You know, all the romanticism we love. So I can't wait for it. I can't wait to get home, open me can of Guinness, and watch the match today.
It's incredible, isn't it? Obviously, we already saw Wrexham knocking out Nottingham Forest last night, which
brilliant.
Was an incredible result. And I was saying to Teddy as well. For me, it was a bit disappointing in that because it was all the focus was on Ryan Reynolds, who was obviously in attendance, and not so much the players out there. But I want to talk to you lads about that very soon. Steve, a look back for Newcastle United, mate. Massive week. Obviously, it was 2 games at home after being away for the Christmas period. Obviously, the fixturing obviously coming thick and fast for Newcastle. But I predicted you to do a lot worse than you did, mate. Newcastle knocking off Crystal Palace 2-0 at home, and then that game against Leeds. My goodness me, that was an absolute all-out, fun fair. I mean, Daniel Farke has got a Leeds team playing very well in the Premier League, which everyone thought that wasn't going to happen. And I think they've only left Burnley in their dust, haven't they? And obviously West Ham and Wolves are just doing it to themselves. But Leeds United is playing some fantastic football. But 2 entertaining games, but on the right end of 2 brilliant results to take you above Sunderland on the table.
Yeah, a big week, and I predicted Newcastle to get the maximum points, and they did, and it was it's been a positive week, with the exception of the news about Kevin Keegan, of course, who has been diagnosed with cancer, and we wish Kevin Keegan well in his ongoing health battles. But yeah, I mean the Crystal Palace game was very business-like. It was a tight affair in the first half. It was always going to be dominated. The two midfields were always going to dominate. Newcastle, of course, with Joe Linton back, are such a different team, with him firing on all cylinders in the middle and losing his rag like he does. And him, Tonali and Bruno, more or less reaching the levels that we hoped they would. Credit to Wharton and Hughes in the midfield for Palace, because they were exceptional. And in the first half, they managed to hold on to our midfielders and frustrate them. But the second half, Malik Chow again with a goal, which he's proven to be quite influential as a goal scorer from the back. And Bruno Guimaraes, captain fantastic, is leading by example. It was a tactical switch against Crystal Palace, which changed things for Newcastle. That did, Tonali going off, Bruno switching to the middle, and he literally dragged Newcastle to victory in that game, which was fantastic. The Leeds game was absolutely mental, but with the news coming about Kevin Keegan prior to the game, it was a tribute to Kevin, wasn't it? Because Kevin's kamikaze football as part of the entertainers. With the exception of Sunderland fans, Newcastle were everyone's favourite second team, and it was that kind of game. Newcastle were on the front foot, but so were Leeds, and it was a head-to-head, which Premiership games are exciting, and that's what you want a Premiership game to be like. And it was goals. Everyone got value for money, and credit to Leeds, they played their part in that game. They weren't just along for the ride. They deserved the lead. They kept edging in front, but Newcastle kept pegging them back, and it was just nice to be on the right end of a 4-3 result. Newcastle, of course, have won 4-3s in the past, but we've lost a lot of games, as everyone knows, in the dying embers of the game. In fact, it was the battle of the two teams who conceded the most goals in 90 minutes. Leeds had conceded 6 games. In 6 games, Newcastle had conceded in 7, I think, or maybe the other way around. But either way, you knew there was going to be a late goal in that game, and so it proved. But I'm glad it was for Newcastle. I think as well, Eddie's been beset with problems. We know he's been beset with injury problems. That's been the trouble, that we've had all season. The back four is constantly had to change, and we've now lost Fabian Shaw. How long for? We don't really know yet. We know it's ligaments rather than a break, which can either be it can be the same length of time that he could be out. But we're hoping that Fabian Shaw, when he sees a specialist this week, won't be as bad as first thought. The good news for Newcastle fans, of course, is that Dan Burn is on his way back after his injury at Sunderland, and he's got potentially ahead of the game. He won't give a definitive answer, but he is training again, he is running again, and he is back on the grass again. So Dan Burn not as far away as he could be, which is good news. Botman, of course, came back into the team midweek, which was great to see. And Kieran Trippier, Tino Livramento back as well. I'm expecting, when we get ahead to it, massive changes today, though. And Newcastle really have to look at this sensibly. They've got to prioritise the game on Tuesday night, because we've got a huge game Tuesday against Man City in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. So Newcastle will, I imagine, change things massively today. But yeah, 2 good wins, 6 points on the board. Been a lot of banter online, of course, because Sunderland, a lot of Sunderland fans have been reveling in the fact that they've been above us all season. I did predict that Newcastle would go above Sunderland prior to the derby. And I was wrong, and credit to Sunderland for that, because they have played well. They've done what nobody could imagine they've done, and they've had that little bit of a blip, and they will have a blip again, and it's what happens. It's what happens in football. But as Ted knows, and I've said this all season, it's what happens in May. It's what happens in the 2 games, and what happens in May. 100%, and no Newcastle fan really is celebrating the fact that we're above Sunderland, because we believe we should be above Sunderland anyway, and we should be. The money that we've spent, the amount of time we've been in the Premier League, and it's one of those situations. You would expect Newcastle to be above a newly promoted team, whoever it is. So credit to Sunderland for doing that for so long. But we, now that we're in front, I'd like to think we can stay in front and be the top dogs of the North East come the end of the season. That's the aim anyway for us.
Until the Swedish takeover comes, we're coming in hot, mate. The Swedish takeover. Steve, on everyone's lips, while I've got you, mate, and on the back of that as well, because everyone at Middlesbrough, including, everyone I speak to is worried about Matt Targett being recalled, given that Newcastle have got so many significant injuries. Now, I've spoken to Matty actually, and obviously you've known Matty well as well. He's out of contract at the end of this season with Newcastle United. Given the injuries, can you see Newcastle United recalling Matty Targett? Eddie Howe was quite midst of it, and I'll tell you what Matty said to me. He said that can't see myself playing again for Newcastle, given that I'm out of contract at the end of the season. Have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, I don't see Matt Targett coming back to Newcastle. Eddie was asked the question in the press conference, so obviously it's going to make a couple of paragraphs in the in the news over the course of the weekend. It's just not going to help him, and it's not going to help Newcastle. I genuinely don't think. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He's not now a Premier League player. He's not capable of playing in the Premier League. I think it would need to take another couple of injuries for Newcastle to even contemplate that. I would be very disappointed if we did bring him back, and it would be disappointing for him because he's established himself in the team at Middlesbrough. He's got a chance of winning a title at Middlesbrough, winning a trophy and getting them into the Premier League. It's something which he should be allowed to do, and I think that's it's obviously what Eddie's going to say. He's not going to rule it out because ultimately, if we are in a mess, then he might have to go and bring him back in. But no, I don't think that's a priority, and I would think that Newcastle United would be looking at this and saying, if the injury to Fabian Schär is seen as season ending, they will clearly have to have a look and say, right, what do we do? Can we bring in somebody in loan? Do we go out and buy somebody? Do we tap into the summer budget and go out and buy somebody now who is going to be part of the team? It's so sad for Fabian Schär because he was being a great servant. He's just played his 250th game for Newcastle, and he is still playing at that level where he could probably get another year out of Newcastle United and do it justice. But if this is the way that his career ends at Newcastle, it'd be very, very sad. But I wouldn't worry, Borough fans. I don't think Newcastle will go in for Matt Targett and bring him back.
There you go, straight from the horse's mouth. Eddie Howe, you listen to Steve over everything, please. On to Middlesbrough, where we got to wrap up a massive, massive victory 4-0, lads. 4-0 against Southampton. It was absolutely incredible. We hadn't scored in 363 minutes. We hadn't scored in 4 games. And all of a sudden, we managed to score 4 goals in almost the space of about 20 to 25 minutes. It was absolutely incredible. Second half display by Middlesbrough to get away with Southampton. And what was even more bittersweet for Middlesbrough fans was it was against Finn Azaz, who left in the summer to go to Southampton because he wanted to move to a Premier League club. How's that working out for you, Phil? And it was an absolute dream to return to the winning ways. It was also an amazing moment. Kim Hellberg, who has moved from Sweden to take over Middlesbrough, has been away from his family. He's got 2 young children and obviously a wife that remain in Sweden. They're moving to Middlesbrough at the end of the month. And it was a moment just over Christmas where we saw his young son running across the training ground to see his dad and run up and get a big cuddle from his dad. And it led into this game. And I just it all was just a bit emotional for everyone because it was no goals. We know that Kim has got us playing absolutely fantastic football, but we just could not put it in the back of the net. Well, we managed to do that in a massive, massive way. 4 goals to the good. Middlesbrough now obviously need to look to the transfer window because our injuries are starting to rack up. I think 2 seasons ago, Newcastle and Sunderland fans, where Newcastle and Middlesbrough were decimated, Middlesbrough is starting to get to those levels again. We're starting to see a defensive line where we've got Matty Targett, obviously, who I was just talking to Steve about. He's been essential because he's had to play centre-back, left-back, centre-back, left wing-back. He's been all over that defensive line, as is Luke Ayling. Luke Ayling, who's been a traditional right-back, has been moved to centre-back as well because we can't keep centre-backs. But we've had the debut of Alderson Malander, who is French for God footballer. If anyone wants to search the definition of Malander, he is absolutely incredible. And then we've gone and signed Leo Castledine from Chelsea as well, which is fantastic timing because we play Fulham in the Cup today and Fulham and Chelsea get on like a house on fire. So it's going to be fantastic to see Leo Castledine, who had a fantastic start to the season in League One. He's just won Player of the Month for League One as well, and he's just signed a 4-year deal at Middlesbrough just yesterday, and it's a fantastic, exciting moment. And I was talking to Teddy about this as well. unfortunately for me, being the mad Australian that I am, he looks to be that person that can fill Riley McGree's void once Riley McGree's out. Riley McGree, when fit, is so essential to Middlesbrough and the way we play. But he cannot keep on this pitch at the moment, sadly. And I think Leo Castledine is a perfect left-sided replacement for that as well. We're seeing Delano Bergzorg potentially leave in the next 24 hours as well. Looks like he's got a loan move to Bristol with the view of making it permanent as well. So it does look like revolving doors already at Middlesbrough as we try and strike into that position of sitting second in the championship and try and make some amazing signings. And I think Leo Castledine is no short of that. It's going to be exciting for Middlesbrough today, going against Fulham as well in the FA Cup, just to see, obviously, the only North East team out of the Premier League, where we are at that level. Can we play our own game against Premier League opposition? Will it be a weakened side? Will we be resting? Will we be finding anyone to fill in those back four as well? It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. As we've got a shortened show, we're going to quickly go and we're going to get the Troll of the Weeks very, very soon. There's a lot of Troll of the Weeks. We were absolutely flooding Steve's inbox this week. It wrote itself this week. Don't you worry about that. After the break, we're going to come back. We're going to talk all the FA Cup fixtures. But as it is now, time to sit back, have a laugh. It's Troll of the Week.
Yep, thanks to everybody who sent them in. First up, when you've got the Battle of Waterloo at 9 and West Ham away at 3. Very good. Get the badge in, son. Get the badge in. Thomas Frank, after just 6 months as manager of Spurs. And Gyökeres's heat map versus Liverpool. Lewis Miley's next game today.
Suits it.
And I never thought I'd say Roy Keane was as big a faff but to sit on Sky Sports and say Eddie Howe is who United should go for. Eddie bloody who? Genuinely pathetic to even suggest that. Do these absolute muppets even watch football? Yes, I've lots of links with Eddie this week. Joey Barton, darts is only a pub game anyway. It's just a pantomime sport. Overweight, smelly men dressed in Hawaiian shirts coming out WWE style to cheesy songs, throwing metal pins at a round board isn't a real sport. Let's just play on the panto baddie here, that's all. Yes, Joey, still very prevalent on social media. Andy Burnham weighed into this one.
He never learns, does he?
I'm 56 today and admittedly a little old school when it comes to football, but no one will ever convince me that a minor hair pull and a sarcastic clap is enough to reduce a team to 9 men. That was strange. I despair about Premier League football, says Andy Burnham. Yeah. This one from a rather annoyed Sunderland fan. The visitors have just celebrated going above a newly promoted club after 21 attempts. Nobody can ever convince me that they are bigger than us. We run this region, says Jack.
Oh, that's brave, Jack.
And an old lady was walking past Old Trafford with some heavy shopping. Jim Ratcliffe shouted out of the window, "Hey love, can you manage?" The old lady replied, "Beep off, Jim, I don't want the job." And Francis Chippy was on it again today. Newcastle United are preparing a sensational £4.5 million bid for Sunderland defender Dan Ballard. The 26-year-old defender will be seen as a short-term backup to cover the injury to Fabian Schär and Dan Burn. Ballard would be interested in making the switch. Brilliant stuff.
Francis.
Dad's naming
the meltdowns.
Oh, it was good, wasn't it? Dad's naming boats might be my favourite thing ever. A boat time. Fishizzle. Feeling naughty. Very clever. Peer pressure. Like that one. Unsinkable 2. Clever. Aquaholic. And cirrhosis of the river. Excellent.
Jesus.
George Weah's cousin was into the darts as well. The worry with Littler is he's at most 2 years into drinking career. Nowhere near the serious stage of it yet. Still drinking fruity ciders most likely. Once he starts drinking properly and hits his alcoholic peak, the others have got absolutely no chance of stopping him. And fancy taking your granny to the Celtic match.
Dear Lord.
On the train to Manchester with the wife for the weekend, and there's 2 lads with Celtic gear on, obviously going to the game tomorrow. Overheard one saying he's only paid to go to Birmingham, so I've told the ticket inspector they're now getting pulled off at the next station. Rangers fan, that kid. Rangers fan. And this was great from Colour Coach Ramayan. I hope you stay in the USA as a short one and all those ridiculous charges are dropped. He sent this to Mickey Quinn. And if you're doing dry January, here's a few suggestions. Dry gin, dry cider, dry martini, dry white wine.
All good choices.
Back in with the Man United manager's job. There is a short list now being revealed. Sam Allardyce and Donald Trump.
Donald.
Oh,
go on the Donald. Breaking, Ruben Amorim has applied for the Chelsea job just so he can sell Garnacho again.
It's crying in the background.
And Zinedine Zidane as learning English so that he can reject Manchester United. Celtic hit the panic button. They got rid of Mr. Nancy.
Oh.
And they broke the emergency glass. And in the Strawberry this weekend, somebody sneaked in and left a wanksy. Very. An ex-Southampton and Swansea duo, Nathan Dyer and James Beattie, have opened up a sweet shop together. Diabetes coming out High Street near you very, very soon. Thanks to everybody for sending them in. If you want to send some tweets in to me, then get them over to nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Failing that, get them over to the lads on their social medias and we will feature them on Troll of the Week.
Oh, welcome on back. Hope you had a good laugh. It's always great to have a Troll of the Week. Welcome back to Three's a Crowd podcast, the only Northeast football show podcast where we talk Newcastle, Middlesbrough and Sunderland every weekend here with the two lads on my left and right. It's an amazing time to bring the Northeast football teams together for a bit of rivalry and a bit of banter. It's FA Cup time. It's time to take a breath from the league fortunes, and we turn our sights to FA Cup. Middlesbrough will be taking on Fulham, and Everton will be taking on Sunderland at home. And it's going to be a massive fixtures list with Newcastle obviously at home to Bournemouth as well. So we'll talk about the Everton game first. Obviously, that is the earlier kickoff, Teddy boy. Everton, a trip for Sunderland fans to go to the new Everton ground as well. Which is going to be interesting, but. A chance for Sunderland to maybe rest up a few of those players that have been playing every Premier League game. You've had 2 games in the week. You've still got 2 players still at AFCON as well in Diaby and Talby. I think it's a good chance maybe here for Sunderland just to take a little bit of weight off some of those players that have maybe been playing every game. It will be interesting though. Obviously, a Premier League opposition at the new ground in Everton as well. How do you see Sunderland at Everton happening today, mate?
So just to put any Sunderland fans' minds to rest there, we haven't signed Abu Diaby. It's Diarra who's still at that.
What did I say? Did I say Diaby?
Diaby, yeah. That's a blast back from the
Diarra.
past.
No, it wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's Diarra and Talby who's still over there playing in the semi-finals. Good luck to them.
How old?
Yeah, you are. You're older than you look. Listen, 2 of the lads still at AFCON. The rest of the lads are actually back in Sunderland now after their various stages of exit during the competition. I felt a bit weird about it, to be honest, because the African lads, they love representing their country. They get so much pride and passion out of that. They treat it so much more, with so much more affection than what I think we do in terms of the English international stuff. So lovely to see that, and obviously you want them to do well, but my God, I was glad when a couple of their teams went out and we're actually starting to get some players back, because we have missed them, especially the likes of Reinildo. If it wasn't for Xhaka, probably our player of the season so far. It's going to be an interesting lineup. Regis Lebris has hinted that he wants to play as strong a team as possible, but he's got to have conversations with some of the squad and say that, some of them do need a rest. Some of them do look a bit leggy. I wouldn't be massively surprised if Xhaka maybe is sat on the bench for this one. I don't think he'll like that an awful lot. But I think, at 33, you've got to look after the legs a little bit and just play it sensible, I guess. Have him as an option by all means. But yeah, at the same time, like I said in the article that I put together, I'm a huge believer in playing your best side where possible in the FA Cup and treating it with some respect. It's been disrespected by too many managers and massively disrespected by the FA in recent years. And the magic isn't gone out the FA Cup. No. We've seen that last night with Wrexham. Whatever you think of Wrexham and the way they go about business, it's still a giant killing at the end of the day. So yeah, listen, I'm bang up for this. I can't wait to see the game. I don't know what Everton are going to do in terms of are they going to rest a lot of players. David Moyes is kind of under a little bit of pressure. The Everton ownership is under a little bit of pressure because the way this sort of dynamic ticket pricing is going down at their stadium is not going down well at all. No, it's not. It's not. And Everton are a good community club. They've got proper working class fans in a working class area. There's always been a good relationship between Sunderland fans and Everton fans. So we kind of feel for them when you're seeing standard seats going for about 400 quid for the Liverpool game. It's insane money, absolutely insane money. So yeah, what they choose to do today, I've got no idea. But I think Regis will play as competitive a squad as possible. I think we'll see Mundle probably start. I think we might see our last appearance or appearances from Dan Neil. But to all intents and purposes, looks like he's off to Rangers, who are one of the interested parties. Apparently Wolves were taking a look at them as well. I would quite gladly take their money. Obviously planning for the championship for next season.
Yeah, not wrong.
So yeah, there's going to be a couple of them. It's rumoured that Luke O'Nien probably will be looking to go as well, which is a shame, in terms of somebody to have around the training pitch and around the back room. He's been fantastic, but he's not cut out for the Premier League. I think we all know that. He's made a couple of cameos.
That man. Sunderland through and through.
He is, and I think it's it should be interesting to see where he goes next. Because is he kind of going to settle the same way? There's clubs like Birmingham taking a look who look like they're going to make the Paddy Roberts deal permanent as well.
Yeah.
There's clubs out there will love to have a player like Luke O'Nien who will just run through brick walls for you.
Yeah.
Given Borough's actually current predicament with their defence and a couple of injuries, he wouldn't be a bad shout for Borough, because he lives in the area. I think he's settled here. There, he's not in Cyprus. That'd be a hell of a commute. So yeah, I think it should be today's lineup will be all about giving people their chance to have a run out, a chance to rest a couple of players, and a chance to get the AFCON lads back up and running again, and against Premier League opposition as well. I really, really want a cup run this season. I know, obviously, Premier League is the most important thing, and I think Gary mentioned it as well. Whether Newcastle finish above us or not is immaterial. If we're playing Premier League football next season, we've had a good season, a seriously good season. But it would just be nice. It would just be nice because we haven't had a decent cup run for years now. And the FA Cup is important to Sunderland fans. You only have to look outside the stadium and at the statue of Bob Stokoe to see what an FA Cup win actually does for you as a person to the fans. It immortalises you. So it would be lovely to see a cup run, and why not? Let's try and get our hands on some silverware. I think we've got the playing staff to actually go and do something with it. You watch, we'll get tonked 4-0, we'll be out in the third round.
Well, on that, give us a prediction. Obviously, you have got the early kickoff while we got you. Give us a prediction. Everton at home to Sunderland.
See, in days gone by, I would have said a draw and we'll take them back to our place. But the FA have totally shafted the FA Cup competition. I can't stand them. I'd miss the replays. I think it's going to be a tough ask, but I can actually see us bouncing back. I think we might just sneak it today with a daft little 1-0.
1-0. Steve, Everton at home to Sunderland in this one, mate. Going to be an interesting one to see what type of teams they both roll out. Obviously, two Premier League oppositions, but also a tough trip to Everton's new ground.
Yeah, I mean, they've always got a chance when they've got Pickford in goal. Obviously, a stone's matter. So, I genuinely can see that being a draw. I think that'll go to penalties. I don't think there'll be a decider in the game. I think both.
Enzo's not taking them.
Oh my gosh!
SJ reckons Enzo to win it on penalties. I think Sunderland are good enough to get down there and get a draw against them. But I think it's down to the penalty shootout. So whoever comes good on the penalty shootout, it's a flip of a coin, really.
And then we see Pickford crying to the cameras, but then turning around and giving him one of these ones to the side.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 10 years. It's 10 years ago this weekend since he made his debut for Sunderland. I can't believe he's been around that long. It's crazy.
It's also on the eve he could send Sunderland through, isn't it? It's all written in the stars, Mr. Pickford. It's all written in the stars. On to Newcastle. Obviously, they're at home to Bournemouth, mate. It's a fantastic chance, obviously. It is a tough fixture grind now, Steve. Obviously, with all the injuries you've got coming back, but now you've got every single cup that is now active. Obviously, it's the first time for FA Cup at home to Bournemouth. You've still got the Champions League. You've still got Carabao Cup on the horizon as well, mate. So it's starting to get a little bit crazier for Newcastle, and Eddie Howe was talking about that in his press conference. Can we see the FA Cup being treated a little bit lightly in that regard, given that there's such a massive game midweek, or is it something that you just have to keep playing your full strength squad for and just pray that no one else gets injured?
I mean, Eddie's track record in the FA Cup is not great. Newcastle have, almost owned the Carabao Cup. They've only won one in 4 years, but they've been, semi-final, two finals. They've done so well. The FA Cup not so well. Two defeats in the third round. One to Sheffield Wednesday, one to Cambridge, which was Kieran Trippier's debut in Eddie's debut season. But a quarter-final appearance as well. Knocked out by Fulham. Should have really, in the last 16, should have progressed that year as well, but didn't. But the Carabao Cup has been our main focus, I guess, and obviously getting into the Champions League. There is no doubt that Newcastle will squad rotate today. Expect to see potentially Aaron Ramsdale in goal this afternoon. I would expect to see Chow play because we haven't really got much option. However, who plays alongside Chow? Well, it'll probably be Botman. I think he'll go Trippier at right back. He hasn't played for 2 months, but he is fit. So I think he'll go Trippier right back, and I think he'll go with Livramento left back, and I think he'll leave Lewis Hall. Give Lewis Hall a little bit of a break. Midfield, he's got options in midfield. Elanga, I would imagine, will be fit. I think Elanga will be fit and will play right midfield. I think left on the left hand side. I don't know what he'll do on the left, but he's got options. He may go with Barnes. Barnes is in a really good really good shape of form. I think midfield, he's got options. Will he want to protect Lewis Miley? Or will he want to go with, will he want to give Tonali a little bit of time off, having just had him in his last, just had the bend.
Congrats to him.
He's got Ramsey who can play central midfield as well. He's got all kinds of options in there. So it's a strange one in the midfield. I'm not sure what to do there. I think he will go with Voldemar up front, and I think he'll keep Wissa for Tuesday night. I think Bournemouth will do the same. I think Bournemouth will rotate their squad. They've lost Semenyo, which is a plus, but it's also a minus for Newcastle.
Only to play, because you got only to play.
And this is where this ridiculous new law has come in. Semenyo is signed for Man City. He's cup tied usually because he's played for Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup. But they've changed the rules. So that means Semenyo now can play against Newcastle for Man City on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup semi-final, despite the fact he's already played for Bournemouth. Ridiculous. Absolutely
it's crazy,
ridiculous.
Isn't it?
But never been getting any more corrupt.
That's crazy.
Semenyo for me, yes, he's a good player, but Anthony Langa was a good player before he came to Newcastle. What's good? There's no guarantees he's going to hit the ground running. And Man City is far more than just one player. They always will be. They've got problems at the back on Tuesday night, to be fair. Newcastle need to be able to hit the ground running, get off to a high press and quick start and hit them early. A 2-goal lead on Tuesday will be good enough for us. But getting back to today, Bournemouth, Newcastle have never beaten them in the Premier League, but they have beaten them in the Carabao Cup. So I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 win. I think Newcastle will win this game. I think Newcastle will progress. I don't think it's going to be a game for the purists. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but I think Newcastle will have a strong enough team put out today to get through to the fourth round and probably get Wrexham at home.
Wouldn't be surprised. Teddy boy, obviously Newcastle, they've had a good week at home, mate. 2 wins on the bounce, obviously taking them above the Mackems in the league, but it's time to FA Cup, mate. How do you see this one playing out, and give us a prediction for Newcastle United?
Are they above us in the league? Nobody's mentioned that.
He has 3 names.
He has, hasn't he?
I like rubbing it in.
It's like my dream's actually coming true, but he's taken over the Newcastle stuff instead. For anybody who's confused by what I've just said there, I had a horrendous dream that me and Rye had a big fallout because he'd switched to supporting Sunderland and wanted to cover them. Anyway, I need to lay off that medication. Today's game for the Geordies, no Semenyo, no show, mate. I think Bournemouth are they're a pretty one-dimensional team. Most of their good stuff came through Semenyo. And even when he wasn't scoring goals and the assists, he was kind of picking up the secondary assists, if you like, and being a big part of the goals. I think it's a step too far in terms of what they've been selling. I know that they sold their complete back line. They managed to replace that pretty well. But this is a totally different ball game. They've lost their talisman. I think this is going to damage them, not just in terms of this game today. I think it's going to damage them for the rest of the season. I'm really convinced about that. I think this, even with the rotation, I think you're bringing in solid players, the likes of Trippier. All right, he hasn't played for 2 months, but he's proven quality. And to bring players like that, Livramento as well, coming back in. Yeah, listen, I think this is a good opportunity for Newcastle in the next round. I think you're right, Steve. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game, but I think it's quite comfortable 2-0 to the Geordies.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a great game, obviously, but it is interesting to see how Newcastle handle the squad management. Steve, we have to quickly talk as well, because Newcastle have got a game midweek. Middlesbrough and Sunderland don't. Newcastle will be at home to Man City in the semi-final leg 1 of 2. Quickly, obviously, on that one, mate, because we have got to get Teddy Boy back to painting. How do you see that one playing out quickly? I mean, obviously, I would be thinking Newcastle would have that. You'd have to have that in the back of your head when you're naming the squad today.
2-0 win for Newcastle Tuesday. Newcastle will go at them, they'll get at them, and they'll score 2 goals. I think it'll be a harder game on the return game. Of course it will be. But Newcastle have beaten Manchester City once at the Etihad and at their stadium, the Etihad, and it was in the Carabao Cup, in the League Cup. So I genuinely feel Newcastle can progress. Nobody gave us a chance against Arsenal in the semi-finals. We beat them 2-0 at home and 2-0 away, and nobody gave us a chance at Wembley. And we beat Liverpool, the league champions, 2-1 at home, 2-1 at Wembley. So, listen, anybody can win. Anybody can win it. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 at home on Tuesday, which will give us a big advantage. But yeah, let's see where we go.
It's going to be a massive weekend. Good luck to Geordies. And Mac is on to Middlesbrough quickly. Obviously, we have got FA Cup fixture on the horizon. We are away to Fulham. It is a trip to London for the mighty Middlesbrough fans. It's going to be interesting today to see how Middlesbrough line up. We are equally. It's one of those ones, lads, again, where we're second in the league. We've got some pretty bad injuries down back. We've also got some injuries down the midfield. We have got a chance now to recruit, but do we go and risk our full strength squad? Well, I think we do. I think it's a chance for Middlesbrough to play the way they want to play. If and such we were to get promoted, it's a great chance to see us against Premier League opposition and a team that's obviously, is stable in the Premier League as well. Now, Fulham haven't been without their bad losses, but they beat Chelsea just recently, not too hard with old Rossoir, who's now in charge of Chelsea there, Teddy boy. It's going to be incredible to see Middlesbrough at Premier League opposition as well, something that we hope is on the future and the near horizon for Middlesbrough fans, and getting to Fulham and having days away like Craven Cottage. Adelson Malander was an fantastic debutant last weekend in centre-back. You would expect him to play with the substitute of all of our other centre-backs that are injured. Dale Fry should be returning soon. We will be without the still Riley McGree's. Alex Bangura looks to be a significant injury as well, Middlesbrough fans. Will we see a debut from Leo Castledine? Did he sign in time yesterday? It'll be fantastic to see which type of team Middlesbrough go for. And it's going to be interesting for me to see Kim Hellberg, because Kim Hellberg has made a statement when he came into Middlesbrough. He said, obviously, we want to play with the ball. We want to have the possession. We want to have the chances. We want to play attacking and wing play, I guess you could say. Now, do we have the chance to do that against Premier League opposition? Can we play the way we want to play against the Premier League opposition, or will we need to be flexible? And it's be that interesting statement that a lot of people seem to have when managers start to become undone. Is that, do they have a plan B? Do they have a plan C? Do they have a way to get the ball back, or to get, to play a different style? Because Fulham are going to be a tough opposition. Will Fulham play a full-strength squad? I don't think Fulham have got anything to lose by not playing a full-strength squad. They've got no other cup fixtures, obviously, and a good little FA Cup run would do nothing to Marco Silva's chances. Obviously, he's been under pressure there at Fulham, but Fulham obviously have come back in a big way. Tough opposition, tough afternoon, but I still think Middlesbrough are going to be up for this, and it's going to be exciting to see the way. I'm just excited to see the way we come up against a Premier League opposition, Teddy boy, because obviously you knew it. You obviously went up to the Premier League. You absolutely replaced your squad. We don't have the ability to do that today. We've still got a largely championship-based squad. We've got a lot of injuries. Obviously, only one fit striker still. We have got the signing of Leo Castledine. I think our defense is kind of sorted. Matty Targett should play, I hope. I mean, there was this rumours, obviously, him going back to Newcastle. Will he be cup tied and all this sort of stuff? But I think Matty Targett will still play. George McCormick, obviously, he, a reputable youngster that can play. But I still think Middlesbrough are going to be up for this. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw here, and I'm going to say Middlesbrough take Fulham to penalties, mate. But just quickly, because I know we have to get you off, how do you see this one playing out?
Weirdly, I actually see it exactly the same way, mate. Fulham are buoyed at the minute. Obviously, the result against Liverpool was absolutely incredible. I mean, that last-minute goal was absolute Roy of the Rovers stuff. They are confident at this moment in time, but Middlesbrough are playing good football, and I think if they show a bit of courage and actually don't show Fulham too much respect, they can actually surprise them a little bit. I think, honestly, I'm sharing the opinion with you. I'm going to go ones each as well, and I think you might just edge it on penalties. I think if you peg them back and get the draw, Middlesbrough through on penalties. There you go.
Oh, I'm very excited. It's good just to see, I think, today, Steve, obviously Middlesbrough coming up against Premier League opposition in Fulham. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Borough. I think Fulham will go massive on the old squad rotation. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Borough and progress through to the next round and play Sunderland in the next round.
Oh, I was going to say, I hope we see I was hoping we get Newcastle Sunderland again for an extra 2026, which would be absolutely fantastic.
You're good. Oh, really?
Oh, and you say it's all on me. You say it's all
on me. Right, how are you doing that? Stop it, Ryan.
Like I've got the control.
Stop it.
He's had that ready for 21 games, man. Can't we?
It's been there, saved. It's his wallpaper ready to go, mate. You think he's all over me? Hey, it's all over me. He's giving
Don't
it to
mention
him.
Wallpaper.
Well, it's going to be an FA Cup victory. Pickford to let Sunderland win. Newcastle go over Bournemouth. We'll see another derby in the next couple of months. It's going to be very interesting. Or Newcastle, Sunderland versus Middlesbrough in one of those games potentially as well, which could be fantastic. Could be a little bit more to this channel. It's been a fantastic afternoon, a fantastic morning. If you are traveling to any of the games or going to the games, please stay safe. Please bundle up. It does look quite frosty out there, and make sure that you enjoy a safe afternoon in the FA Cup. Not for you or me, Steve. I've got bushfires going on around me, mate, let alone what you've got going on. It's crazy here. We had 42 degrees yesterday. 42 degrees. I'm sorry, English
wow.
Fans. Take care of one another. Be kind of one another. Thank you so much for tuning in to Three's a Crowd. We're here every weekend. Make sure you consider liking, subscribing. If you want Newcastle content, you go to Steve Wraith. If you want Sunderland content, you go to Ted the Macam, who's just launched new stuff on Facebook as well. So make sure you go check him out on Facebook. And if you want anything Middlesbrough, you can't miss my big fat head at Inrictus on most of the socials. Take care of one another. Be kind to one another. Enjoy your FA Cup games. I will see you all later for the Watch Along Borough fans. Take care of one another. Be kind to one another. It's bye for now.
Three's a Crowd podcast will return. That's not a threat. It's a promise.